Hi folks, Pete the who? Pete the psychic medium. I've only been drinking water, and this is for entertainment purposes and also for spiritual development. And it's the continuation, actually the number 6 of the Sam story. And Sam, for those who haven't followed the others, you really do need to. It doesn't make sense if you come in halfway through. But basically, it's a story of a friend who had passed away from riddled with cancer a few years ago now, who had come back to me in a psychic sense. My spirit friends had worked through me to commune with him, to bring him into the light, so to speak. And it was confirmed by a third friend who really was the conduit between me meeting Sam in the first place, and that we called him Danny. I'm calling him Danny. All the names are false except mine. I'm just false. All right, so now this part, I'm not going to read all of it down, but as I said in the earlier vlogs, I've got a blog that I'm reading actually, and it's quite long, as you can tell. You're more than welcome to go and have a look at it and read the whole story. And I've left links, or I will be leaving links to this at each of the separate units. Now this one is basically, as I say, I'm going to cut it a bit short. I went down to Danny's place in Harvey Bay. Now this is on the 12th of August 2018. I went down and visited Danny at his place in Harvey Bay, and we created a circle where we asked our spirit friends if it was all right to, well, in fact, it was they that got us together. See, well, come on, we're going to get a spirit circle happening here. Little bits I'll read. Danny was first to make contact with Sam, and I could sense that Spirit was trying to encourage Sam to interact with Danny, and it was hard going. You see, that, as I've said, the difficulty was that Sam had in his mind that Danny was a God brother, and he isn't. But Danny had mentioned the name God way back in, the first or the second of these. And so Sam was still very reluctant to interact with Dave. Where am I up to? So, Danny's recollection, he said, I first got a glimpse of light and said to you, we have company. You confirmed that it was Sam, and we both felt the spiritual energy was incredibly peaceful and strong. I hit a brick wall with him, and that is when you went into trance. So this is Danny talking about me going into a trance. And this is his recollection of what I did. You started talking to him, but he was agitated and obviously confused. You then started to ask him questions. Where would that go? You asked him to look around and tell us what he saw. He said he was still alone in a room, so it sounded like he had shared with you before, Danny was saying to me. You asked him to make the room into whatever he'd like it to be by using his imagination, and it would become that place. You reminded him of how he created something similar a few weeks back, namely the alcohol. He was very reluctant to do this, but with our coaxing, finally gave it a try. It was a very slow process, and I think we both wondered if it wasn't grinding to a halt. You, Pete, then asked Sam if there was a window in this image he'd created, and he said there was. He said, but was reluctant to go there. At this point, I was distracted by Sam, who said he was confused with what I was suggesting. So Sam had gone back over to Danny and said, I don't know what the hell Pete's talking about. Because again, Sammy really didn't want to go into this. It was, I'm just happy in my room here. So anyway, I could feel Sam fading, and so I told him I'd be there to help him later on if need be. not long after that, he was gone. So you, Pete, and I went back to have another nip, a sip. Speaking of sips and nips, I'll have some water. And we stacked up his fire. There's a character in Australia on TV for kids. It was called Mr. Squiggle. And it was a TV thing where a camera was put on its side and a guy had a pencil with a face on it. And I don't know how he did it, but he used to draw. And it looked like a character drawing on a wall. And that character was called Mr. Squiggles. Well, he's got a fuel stove. And it was an old gas bottle that he converted into a burner. Well, it looks like Mr. Squiggles with the pencil part at the top and the bowl part at the bottom. So we referred to Mr. Squiggles, and we were sitting in front of Mr. Squiggles and having our drinks. And I think we're pretty much covered. There wasn't a lot happened on that visit. Oh, yeah, and a few days later I asked my spirit friends if they could fill in the missing parts of whatever was missing. And my spirit friend said, Danny was distracted, but not by Sam. He missed sensing Sam going to the window and viewing a place like Switzerland or Simla. He could see high snow-covered mountains, and specifically a steam train wandering through the valley far below as it wound along its tracks on the mountainside. Sam was shocked and quite emotional, and he faded. So what had happened is that I had got that vision. Or no, I hadn't, but Sam had got that vision when I'd been talking to when I'd been talking to him, but Danny hadn't. So that was the reason why Sam went so suddenly. It was too much for him. It was too emotional, But upstairs we're starting to bring. They won't let you rest. Yes, a bit like army camp, and he should know better because he was in the military or the Navy. Sam, I mean. So they're firstly, come on, we're going to keep. Yeah. Where up to now? All right, so it's the 28th of May now. Now, I'm on my way home after, I'll just flip through here. I'm on my way home after the trip down to Harvey Bay. And I didn't hear anything. It was a week later. It was on Thursday, the 28th of May at 5:30. I was enjoying my quiet time with my guides as the sunset. It's going to move down here a bit. Yep. As the sunset, where's the sunset gone? Yeah, all right. It was, yeah. I checked in with my guys to see if this was actually Sam, because I felt he was around me, and they confirmed that it was. So, again, we. Hi, Sam. Hey, Pete. Is that you? Very jovial. Yeah, mate. How's it going? I remember when that happened, I was really shocked because we had him so morbid before. Ah, it's wonderful. I took your advice and experimented with imaginations, and it opened the door to me. Just want to say thank you so much. Oh, mate, that's awesome, because I didn't, nothing to do with me, it was spirit. So very pleased to hear you're as jovial as you are. I had to let go of quite a bit of baggage, but knowing that it was weighing me down, it was worth the release. Great news, Sam. You know that I couldn't possibly have known what to say or what to suggest to you. It was my spirit friends up there in that wonderful new home that you're in. I'm not quite to that point yet, Pete. So if you say so, just wanted to say thank you and Danny for helping. You have no idea how much you both helped me. Now, in view of what I've told you of Sam and Danny and I, we didn't do much. But Sam had something. And he could see it as us. So just remember this bit, because this is how spirit works. If we give them permission, we become real to the passed over soul. And they think they're talking to us, but it's spirit talking through, to that person with our imagery. And I say all the time, you go for it. Hey, geez, if you're going to help people, go for it. Saints, the Mary, the Mother of God, comes through, and Jesus comes through. Well, that's what that's all about. And they're coming through into the physical world, but that's in the spirit, the same system in the spirit world. They're there for goodwill. All right, where am I? I got past that bit, didn't I? Yeah. Thanks, Sam. I said after what he said about being grateful. Thanks, Sam, and I'll pass that on to Danny. He has man flu at the moment. Yeah, I thought there was something amiss with him. Tell him I'll send him some magic his way, laughing, meaning it was about time that he got back at Danny about the spiritual side of things. And then I said, oh my God, Sammy, don't tell me you're into our shit. And Danny Sammy laughing his head off. Don't know what I'm into. I took your advice and built my own heaven. The Swiss scenery. Ah, yes, I remember, I said. Well, I kept expanding on that imagery and it became as real as if I were there. So how is Switzerland? I said. Don't know, laughing. Right now I'm on the Riviera, cruising in this magnificent boat. Blonde bombshells all around me, more laughter. Seriously? I said. Yeah, but it's okay. No one's complaining and I'm not getting naughty. So how could it be wrong? And of course, I laughed me off there. Sam, I'm burning out all the desires I was unable to have when I was alive, after Jill passed over. It's like having everything you could possibly want, or could dream of. Eventually the thirst dies, so I'm told. So who's telling you, Sam? Oh, I forgot. I have lots of friends who came into my imaginary world. Some were no hopers, but others were good people. Funny that when I wasn't sure who I should trust, I had you three there in my mind, and without a word I knew which one you'd recommend that I could trust. Three? Who were the three? You, Danny and Jill. I've tried to chat with you and Danny, but they say you were both too busy, so I chat with your clone up here instead. So he was getting to the point of realising that there were two Petes and two Dannys, and I'm not sure if there's two Jills, but he was beginning to realise that there was, like cloning. And he was and it was safe. He kept feeling it was safe. Incredible, isn't it? The things that go on. Now, just let me pause here for a moment. How's that time? Some of you might be sitting there sort of, well, that Pete's got a bloody amazing imagination. Yeah, but so has Danny. And Danny had a lot of the stuff Danny had not heard from me, except when I gave him, there was a trip that I went down, and you heard what happened there. Hardly anything. And then there was the emails that I've already given you, or as they come through. I think I've given you only one so far. I'm flipping through some of this because I don't want to make it too long. But there's all the emails that we ever had. Danny and I are in the blog. Okay. Where were we up to? Oh yeah, after the cloning bit, I said to him, well, we're probably sleeping, and that's why the clones. Yeah, that'd be right. He was laughing. You both have your strange sleeping patterns. Yeah, except when certain persons who remain nameless wake you up, and that was a Poppy Snooze inference again when he used to come and bash the side of the bus when I was sleeping in the afternoon. And I reminded him of that, and he said, oh, I wonder who that could have been. And it was him. So I said to Jill, how's that going? Like I said, I've got to burn out all my desires and fantasies, a bit like a teenager leaving school and then partying on until going to uni. I'm heading to a kind of spiritual uni after I've cleared the slate and had fun here. Do you still have the feeling like you're passed over, or do you feel different? You certainly sound different, like a pubescent adult. Broad laughter, you really rocked the table. Never thought about it like that. I guess I'm like an 18 or 20-year-old around that age. It's not sexual or anything like that. Just the feeling of something new, like like a young man, and with the world's my oyster. Starting to realise that the baggage of his past has gone, and he's now a teenager, young adult, in a sense, in a new world. Now, this is not, just to explain, this is not he hasn't gone into a new physical world. This is just him splitting up his old soul, and the new seeds are moving on. And again, we have to go back to the split soul theory to make sense there. And it's the new seeds that are moving on, that are leaving an imprint back in his now depleted soul. His soul is starting to split away. And it was leaving a memory there of happiness and contentedness with these seeds are going on to university, but they are him. Think about that for another time. Yeah, but how can that be? All right, where are we up to? And I said, you were saying it's not sexual. I'm feeling very optimistic, keen and alert. So Sam, I'm amazed. You don't sound anything like when we last chatted with you. Really? I guess that's time for you. I guess. I'm not sure how he meant that. Anyway, I wrote it. Last time we chatted, you were very low and quite alarmed that you would have nothing to do with Jill. Ah, shit, that was years ago. And again, we forget that there's no sun. So what had been, only a couple of months he was with me in the physical world, it was years. But time is not continuum in spirit. It can go back and it can go forward, as you'll see. Righto, so in the physical world, the days are determined by my spirit friends are just saying what I've already said about the sun. There's no sun in spirit. There's no time in spirit. Well, Sam, it's less than a week from when I was with Danny and we chatted at his place. Shit, no, he said. That's at least a year. There'd be more than a year ago. Remember, I've put in here at least a year ago. He was saying more than a year ago. He really thought it was years. Well, it's May the 20th. It's the 24th of May, the same year you died. You died, and I've put that in. You died at the end of February, and so to Danny and me, you've only been gone a few months. Sam was shocked, and he said, "Bullshit." And I said, "True. But up there you have a different time zone and system." So I'm told. He had a strange laughter, like the confusion had him completely off balance. That's why I was asking about Jill. After a long pause. She's been around me, but only when I have bad days. Well, I haven't had any bad days for quite a while. She's been at a distance and encouraged me, but not as I had hoped she'd be. So in other words, her energy was there, but she'd been 10 years gone. So she was in, 10 years physical age, how many years spiritual age? And so she was now, in a sense, in a guidance form. Someone saying, how can she be a person when she's split soul? Good point. Work on it. Okay. Sometimes when it seemed too much, she disappeared for a while. Then when I least expected it, she is back. Her voice, that is. But it was more than a voice. It was that feeling I remember of her before she died. Now that I've got you thinking, it's not the person. What's her name? The girl, the woman. It wasn't her. Oh, I've got it up here. Yeah, that's right. It wasn't Jill that was coming back. It was an essence of Jill that presented herself in the same way that Danny and I were presenting ourselves to him, but it wasn't us. We'd given permission. It happens on both sides of the veil. So if you call for love and you're meaning it genuinely in spirit, you get that what you call for. But if it's done in the right sense, so if you're someone who's not really a selfish person in the early days of their evolution in spirit, they're going to have a bit of difficulty. Like Spirit had basically said, well, you're in the dark room, and it's up to you to get out of there. You can create your way to get out of it, but the way to create it is... And of course, we're not being told what happened in that time frame from when, only a matter of months. A lot had happened to Sam that we haven't been privy to. As far as I know, I don't think I did get that, but anyway, right out. Here somewhere. After a while, I'd started hearing her voice encouraging me, confirming what you and Danny had said, that I should trust you both. Sometimes when it seems too much, she'd disappear for a while. Then when I least expect it, she'd be back. A voice, that is. But it was more than a voice. It was that feeling I remember her by before she died. So is she there with you now? No. She said she'd catch up with me once I started uni. I think she may be one of my teachers, but I'm only guessing that. Teacher's pet, her? And he laughed his head off at that. Mate, I can't believe you are so... 22. I can't believe you are so happy and contented. You were so lost when we last chatted. Danny and I thought you were headed for lost soul status. That is a soul that just floats in the ethers of forever and ever, amen. Or until you wake up. When Danny said that about the 50-50, about taking the first step, I really thought you were bullshitting me. The effort to just make that first step, and I believe could do anything, and I believe I could do anything, was totally overwhelming. But you made the move. Now, I don't think I read that part. That was when Danny and I were down visiting. I didn't put too much of that in, but yeah, it's in there. But you made the move. Sammy said, yeah, I tried the window a second time, and yeah, you were right. I did have expectations the first time. I'm assuming you're referring to the first time I got you to go to the window at the hospital, and you ended up on the veranda at Garuba? Yeah, that cruelled it for me. When Jill kept away from me, I had no reason to do anything. That's going back to the hospital. Come on, mouse. That goes back to the hospital, and in the first or the second one of these, where we got him out of bed and he went to the window, and it was just awesome, incredible. I think it's number 2. Yeah, that could have been, yeah. Yeah, mate, that's when we thought we'd lost you to the wastelands. Then when I tried the window the second time and ended up in Switzerland, I felt different. Something had changed. Did you go to Switzerland many times after that first time? Once or twice at first. Then about the third or fourth visit, I was looking out in the distance and I could see Jill calling me from a mountaintop. It was from there that I had a reason to move forward. It was from then I had a reason to move forward. So was it a happy ever after scenario? Oh no. At least she seemed to disappear every time I got close to her. But then there were these other surprises just around the corner. the trip to the Riviera and places like that was distracted me, and I wasn't concerned not seeing her. Oh, sounds disappointing. No, it was great. She started coming to me as a voice and in feelings, and that was all I really could possibly have wanted or needed. Even when you were playing up. No, that was something else, he said. Okay. I'm getting a feeling that we're at the end of this chapter, old mate. This is amazing. It's just going to fit into the time frame. Not sure if I'd be having contact with you again, considering you're passing the gate to another level. That's what my guides are telling me anyway. Yeah, that's possible. They tell me the less contact I have with my old reality, the better it may be for a future journey. Would love to know more, mate, but your journey is far more important to your continuance than what I would like to know. He then said, Jill said you and Danny would get what you need concerning me once I've moved into the next level. It seems that what has happened to me is important for you to pass on to others, as they can know what happens to them after they die. So in other words, they're all saying up there in spirit, they're very grateful for what we're doing to let people know, so as I am with you guys. Would very much appreciate that, Sam, as I know would Danny. Okay, he said. Hope the journey continues to grow immediately for you. All the best. Thanks. Hope I catch up with you again, but if not, thank you and Danny so much for what you did for me. Our pleasure, old mate, I said. And the session finished at 6:40 p.m. I think I'll leave that bit. I know I've got a few minutes, 3 minutes, or a minute. So I'll leave that to the next one. All right, okay. So it was obvious. And then when I got this, it was sort of like, well, was that it? Have I done my job? Have we done our job? And it was just like, oh, okay, that's it. It's all over. But as you'll see, as I said, and I'm reading it this way, we were getting information like it's like reading a book in chapters, but we were flipping to a future page, and then we were coming back to another page. So, and I'm having a hell of a job remembering a lot of this because it was mostly in trance form. I don't remember it. And I've said this with my trancing generally. If you were to ask me questions about any of the trance blogs that I've put on here, vlogs that I've put on here, you'd have to trigger me because I don't know them. I don't remember. There's a lot of stuff I just don't remember. Right, so we're up to our 28 minutes, and so that's another one bites the dust. Thank you all again. Catch you on the other side into the next one. What are we up to now? Is that 6? I don't know. All right, I'll catch you when I catch you, and thank you so much for your tolerance and wanting to be here to hear this, those that have been continuing through. Thank you.